Hi guys, it's Lillian, the Postmodern Mom, and welcome to another chat while I do my makeup. Today I'm going to talk about pregnancy. So I've only recently found out about this other YouTube channel slash blogger named Mrs. Midwest because I'm a part of this on Facebook, some femininity groups for housewives and basically women who want to improve on being feminine. And so they had recommended her channel. So I started watching her channel, just a few videos of her talking about her glam up and her makeup and losing weight and stuff like that. And then people were saying, oh no, she hasn't been posting for a while. I hope something's not wrong. Some people were speculating about her marriage. And finally, after like 3 months of not posting a single video or blog, she comes on and says she's pregnant, which was a great great news, because I think some people were worried about her marriage and things like that. But the first thing I thought of was, obviously I'm really excited for them because it's their first, and she shared in her video like kind of her struggle and why, what her struggle was. Part of it was that she was on hormonal birth control for the longest time, and then getting off of it took a long time for her period to come back, her cycle to be normal, and they weren't getting pregnant, so they started considering tracking her ovulation, but then she got pregnant, so it was really exciting. But what I think of is the importance of taking a natural birth course, a really good one, because birthing is such a huge life thing, you know? I mean, it's giving birth to especially your first child is just, there's nothing else like it, and it's life-changing for the mother, for the father, and obviously a new life added to the family. It changes the whole family dynamic, it changes your marriage dynamic, and if you have a good birth experience, it changes your perspective, I think. If you have a negative birth experience, it changes your perspective on life and marriage and children and the purpose of being a woman. So I always recommend that people will take a good course and they can learn about natural childbirth, because it's so sad when people are looking forward to the birth of their firstborn, starting to add to their family, growing their family, and then they have a traumatic experience, and then they think they do not want to do that again, and that they have to even weigh, you know, oh my gosh, the life of my wife in order to have another child. You know, they're not really willing to make that kind of sacrifice because I had a horrible experience. So I guess I just want to say I feel like people should consider taking a really, really good childbirth course. I teach a childbirth course, and I think it's really changed my life. I'm just showing you what I just bought this recently from Superdrug, and it is like called the Revolution Conceal and Define Infinite. It was only £6. It says 16-hour wear, and I have a little blemish that I want to get rid of, which is up here. And I was hoping that this would do it for me. I also had to guess what color I am, but I think I did a good job. Wow. I couldn't try it on at the store because of COVID-19. And I couldn't even open it up to look at the actual liquid. I had to compare the label. Oh, it worked. So I just feel like, I think people don't talk about it enough, but I definitely feel like having a natural childbirth is a part of being feminine. It's a part of embracing a traditional family life, instead of just relying on doctors to deliver you from this horrible condition called pregnancy. You know, I think pregnancy and birth is their natural functions, and that you should really gain the knowledge so you can feel comfortable even thinking about having a home birth. If you're healthy and low risk, even things that people don't realize. For example, if your baby is breech, that's just another form of normal, but people don't know that. They think that it's some sort of death sentence or an emergency that you have to be delivered from, and that you have to go to the hospital to get a C-section, which is major abdominal surgery, when you could just birth your baby with the butt coming out first. It's really not that scary. It's only scary to the doctors and the midwives because they haven't been trained properly on how to give birth that way, how to help with the delivery that way. So I think that they end up pushing C-section because they're very familiar and very comfortable with that. But guys, C-sections are difficult, and they're major abdominal surgery, and you can't carry anything heavier than 5 pounds, which is probably the size of your baby. And for like weeks, you can't drive for a while, and it just feels horrible. And obviously, I think a lot of first-time mothers want to avoid a C-section, but they just don't know how to. They don't know how to prepare for it. So I would highly recommend a couple things. The first thing is to check out the Bradley method. And there's probably a local Bradley teacher near you. I'm in the UK and I'm the only teacher here, but I've been doing all my classes virtually and able to serve the people here in the UK because of the time difference from the US. If you're unsure about the course, or if you really can't access a teacher, I would buy this book called Natural Childbirth. You okay? Natural Childbirth, The Bradley Way. It's by Susan McCutcheon. Can you give them to me? So yeah, get the book called Natural Childbirth, The Bradley Way by Susan McCutcheon, and read through that, do the exercises, do the assignments. But if you need accountability, like me, like I'm someone who I feel like I'll do really well if there's a class with a teacher, because they'll make assignments and I will do the assignments for the teacher. I'm that kind of student. And that's why when we started, we decided to do the Bradley method, because it seemed really intense. It was also called the Husband Coach Childbirth, and I really liked the idea that my husband would be highly involved and understand everything. I didn't want to go it alone. I trust my husband in a lot of things, and so now after taking the course, he feels a lot more confident and comfortable with the whole idea of natural childbirth, because you have to have your husbands on board. You know, they clearly get really stressed out if they don't know very much, and one way to get them on board is to take a course with you. So I found that this was a really great course. I read that book. The Husband Coach Childbirth is like Dr. Bradley's experience. So that's by him, which is really nice. I'm really liking that concealer I got. And I just put on some key areas on my face. And I feel like it's really smoothed my face out. And then do some research. There's so much good stuff online. I read a lot of Mama Naturals stuff when I was pregnant the second time around, because I don't think I heard about her the first time. I forget. And then I watched a lot of childbirth videos, birth stories, read about them, and those are really good because it helps to expose you to something that women centuries and centuries past have been able to see. We are in a new age where childbirth is only seen by the women going through it or by midwives and doctors. But yeah, women in centuries past, they would have seen a birth. It would have been their mother's birth, maybe of their sibling, or a cousin or an aunt. The first time they would experience childbirth wouldn't be themselves. And I feel like we've lost a lot of knowledge from that, from just lack of that kind of experience, which is why I was hoping that my daughter would be interested in seeing the birth of our third. But Doris is she's not quite old enough yet, I think, to get interested in that stuff. So maybe I'll have another one, and maybe then she can help and watch. But basically, I just feel like we need to get exposure to this natural function. We can't be thinking of it like it is some sort of disease, some sort of virus, some sort of condition that is unhealthy and unnatural. Pregnancy is natural and healthy, and so many people ramp it up and say it's horrible, it's life-threatening. What's happening? But clearly women have been having babies for centuries. That's how we populated the world. And so to think that in the modern day, in our most advanced state, that women are unable to have more than 2 or 3 children, or that is just so frightening and life-threatening that you need major abdominal surgery to get through it, it's so difficult to overcome that mentality when you're steeped in it and you've lived through that mentality. So I just want to encourage you guys that, you can do it. You can give birth naturally. Of course, if you are high risk, it's great to have professionals around you. And it is life-saving to have a C-section if you have something like preeclampsia. But if you just have a, quote, big baby, that's not really a reason. And I'm sure I'm going to offend a lot of women out there who believe that, and that doctors have told them that the head would not have fit through the pelvis. That's what this course is for. That's what Bradley method teaches, is to learn what exactly CPD is. So thank you. I am probably going to sign off now before doing my lips, because I have this baby to care for. It's a wonderful little baby Winnie. So thanks so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll leave some links down below for if you need any help. But I always wonder, I think a lot of women, mothers, first-time mothers are like, they're all about preparing. They want to know what to buy, but they don't take a course on childbirth, and it just scares me and it makes me feel sad. And then I hear about all these traumatic births, and they usually follow the same pattern called the cascade of interventions, which is avoidable. So I highly encourage you, and I want to encourage you, that you can do it. It doesn't need to be a mystery, and you don't need to be afraid. Thanks for watching. Bye. I think there's such a joy in keeping a good home, in watching your children grow up, in cooking and cleaning and supporting your husband.